In black and white, the silence screams, a world of nightmares, death and dreams. A tale unfinished, shadows wept, where darkness wakes what light has slept. The ink still drips with pain and pride for one who walked the world wide-eyed. He built the stage, he lit the flame, but fate would call too soon his name. He dug into the darkest depths, where hope breathes its final breath. The tribute forged in blood alone, to ones who won't be seen no more. Yet in these pages he still stands, the haunted world drawn by his hands. He dreamed of voices breaking through, of tales untold, of fright made new. With crystal lake and hearts aligned, they shaped a storm of twisted minds. But illness came, a thief at night, and stole his voice before the light. Still one last story, fierce and brave, it lives in darkness from life. We dive into the darkest depths, where hope breathes its final breath. A tree forged in blood and love, to one who won't be seen no more. Yet in these pages he still stands, the haunted world drawn by his hands. For saying the sun, the torches pass, the legacy too bright to last. But echoes in these tales remain, a father's love beneath the pain. Filmmaker, dreamer, gone, yet still his spirit lingers on. He screams and ink through shattered breath, relives within the darkest depths. We dive into the darkest depths, where horror breathes its final breaths. A tribute forged in blood and lore, to one who won't be seen no more. But every scream and every line keeps telling us all forever twined. He lives within the darkest depths, and we are not afraid of death. From the islands where the sun meets the sea, Jason's the voice we all wanna be. Interviewing creators, making comics come alive. With every story, he helps us thrive. Jason from Hawaii, diving in deep, unveiling the stories that we wanna keep. From creators to heroes, he's got the scoop on the comics for fun and profit loops. So tune in.
Aloha! It's Jason from Hawaii. Welcome to a special edition of the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. In this episode, I will be interviewing a friend of the podcast, Bram Stoker winner James Aquilone. Now, he is here to promote his latest Kickstarter, Darkest Depths. Now, it is an extreme horror anthology. That's what is stated on the Kickstarter page. And I'm going to ask James a little bit later in the interview, what does that mean? Now, this campaign is live and ends on June 12th. I've already backed this Kickstarter, and also, too, it's already fully funded, correct, James?
Yes.
Ah, it's nice. And you still got, well, when we post this episode up next week, I think it'll be still like there'll be about 2 or 3 more weeks still into the campaign. So, James, welcome back to the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And listeners, I've already told James. I've thanked James for coming back on the podcast. And James, I think this is like your sixth or seventh time you've been on the podcast.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right. So James, I'm just gonna jump right in the darkest depths. Now, before we start breaking down, what are some of the stories in this anthology, on the Kickstarter page, that the book is dedicated to your late friend and partner Taylor Grant. May I ask, can for our listeners, can you tell us a little bit about Taylor?
Well, Taylor's a horror writer. He's a producer. He was the head of animation for Webtoons as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a couple of years ago, he approached me and Crystal Lake about doing some more projects with comics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he had been recovering from cancer at the time, and he loved comics, so he really wanted to kind of do what he loved. So he really wanted to get more involved with us because we had just launched the Crystal Lake Comics
Mm-hmm.
line. So he wanted to get involved with that. And one of the things we were going to do was this series of anthologies, horror anthologies called Darkest Depths, and he was going to be involved with that. He was going to help us fund it. He was going to write with us and help promote it. Um, and just about when we were about to launch it, about 2 years ago, he
Mm-hmm.
got sick again, and so we put it on hold.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hoping he'd get better and we would be able to launch it again, but
Yes.
he didn't. Things got worse for him, and then he ended up passing away in September, um, which was very unfortunate too because I really wanted to have to launch the campaign while he was still around because
Yes.
he was very excited about it and he like I said he loves comics. So then we decided then that when we did launch it to dedicate it to him, and
Mm-hmm.
that we'll give the money to his son, for whatever profits we make from it. So I'm very happy we did get to launch it, but I'm like it was a little sad too that we weren't able to do while he was still around.
And yeah, I'm sorry because when I was reading a little bit more, because it's in the Kickstarter page, and I was reading a little bit more. It's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry about your friend. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
he was a really great guy too, and I think he was like a really good like mentor to other writers. He was always helping people out
Mm-hmm.
too. So that was one of the reasons why too we decided that we want to kind of make the anthology kind of like a community based where we invite people in to submit scripts.
Yes.
I know that a lot of writers, especially in the horror writing community, that want to get into comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to get into comics, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So there usually aren't that many opportunities like this
Mm-hmm.
where you can submit a script
Mm-hmm.
to an anthology.
Yeah.
Because usually they want if they do, are open to submissions, usually they want you to have an artist already attached
Mm-hmm.
to it. And some of them kind of want you also to kind of pay the artist already, you
Oh,
know?
okay.
So like
Yeah.
you have to have a partner, and they'll pay they'll pay like a very low rate,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to find an artist basically who's either willing to do it for very little,
Yeah.
or the writer will end up paying for the artist. So we're gonna supply the artists.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the writers can just send in the script, and then they don't have to worry about it, and then we'll find an artist to illustrate the story.
I'm going to jump around a little bit before we start going into some of the stories that's going to be in this anthology. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because on the web page, isn't there like a link to like if someone wants to submit a story? Am I correct on that?
Yeah. So you can go to monstrousbooks.com,
Hmm.
and there's a submissions page there. But there's a link on the Kickstarter page where you can find that.
Hmm. Okay. But that's great that because like you said, Taylor Taylor wanted to do is he wanted to have, you know, horror writers to at least get their foot in the door. This is one way to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. Um, Now on the Kickstarter page, already I think already for three of the stories, I saw some of the preview pages. I'm gonna start off with Taylor wrote a story for this graphic. Is it okay if I just call it a graphic novel?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
okay. All right. It lives in darkness. So just just tell us just tell our listeners, what is the general story about?
That's hard to talk about without giving a lot away.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
But
because they're short stories. They're only most of them are about 6 to 8 pages. So there's,
okay.
but it's about a kid who's being abused by his father and he's being bullied
Yeah, just the
and then there's a monster involved
that's all it is. That's all we just need the general. Yeah, we
may
just
or may not be real. So, but it's a really cool story.
all right.
And Zach Atkinson's doing the art for that, and he did a really great job.
Oh, okay. All right. And then listeners, Zach and James are also working on the
The Omega 11.
yes. I'm sorry. I'm trying to because I'm also trying to tie some of this thing in. So, listeners, you know, because issue number one of Omega 11 is available on Monstrous book website.
Yeah,
Is that correct? All right.
yes.
All right. And I know issue two, that campaign was very successful and it just ended, I think, about a month ago or so.
Yeah, this is probably like the closest I've ever done to Kickstarter. So I'm trying to do more Kickstarters every year.
Wow. Yeah, no, but that's right, because I think we did the last interview that we did with you and Zach did was like maybe within the last 2 months or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it just ended about yeah, it was about a month
okay.
ago it ended, yeah.
Okay. Now also too, I saw some preview pages of Bird's Eye. So listen, if you guys get a chance, check out the Kickstarter the Darkest Depths page, because they got some at least about 3 pages preview pages of Bird's Eye. And um again, just tell us a general idea. Don't you know, or
That
what?
that's a really fun story too. That John Durgan wrote that,
Hmm.
and it's about these young people are at a amusement park, and
And
I
that
guess you could say well some of your crazy stuff breaks out, and it's kind of like it's not like a zombie apocalypse type
oh, but
thing, but it's like they get people get messed up and things get really ugly and
yeah,
get really
but
gross toward the end. With all these stories, it gets really bad toward the end
okay.
and
Because,
bloody,
but the other thing I have to say is because it's already in the preview pages, but Bird's Eye, it's how because there's a scene where you know the kid is like, okay, he wants to propose to his girlfriend at the carnival.
Yeah.
They're he's in the bathroom, then he hears there's another guy in there, and then they get out of the stalls or start washing their hands, and the guy starts throwing up, because it's already on the preview page. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah, okay, all right. And then the kid goes outside, he meets up with his friends, and then they start going to one of the food concession stands, and who's behind the counter? The guy that just threw up in his hands.
Yep. Yeah,
And
I
he's
guess
like,
that gives you an idea of the story. Yeah, it's kind of it's gross and
oh, but
yeah.
but I love it. That is so like, all right. Now, you wrote a short story. Your artist on this one is J.K. Woodward.
Yeah.
It's called The Gate. Again, just general. We've the preview pages on it. It looks great, and I can't wait to see the
Yeah.
rest.
Well, JK
But
did a really great job
okay.
with that. And I just love doing the stories with JK where he's just doing like black and white stuff because I think his black and white work is really awesome and it really it gives you this it's very moody, and
Yes.
dark. So I think this was perfect to do this type of story with in these caves and stuff because I was looking at I don't know why. I think I was just checking out the like these cave photos.
Hmm.
Check that out. Like these cave. I mean, they those people are crazy when they exploring those caves and when they
Yes.
go into little holes and things.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
have incredible like photos, you
Yes.
know. So I was like, that'd be really great visually
Hmm.
for a comic. But in this, yeah, there's this group of people who are cave explorers, and they
Hmm.
come across this very mysterious door or
Yes. Yeah.
gate.
Ah,
And yeah. So and then things get much worse
yeah.
after that.
But but
But yeah, as you can imagine, yeah, because like you can see like on the second page, like there's like these screaming faces coming out of the walls and stuff.
that's
So
but
yeah,
it's
that's a really cool. That's like I said, I just love because we did the comic with in Monstrous too
hmm
magazine with JK. He did
the Morlock, right?
Morlocks too. Yeah. So,
Oh
and
yeah.
Tom Napolitano too lettered both stories. And
Hmm.
so I just love that look. I just love the black and white. And that's the thing too. I
Hmm.
haven't said though is the Darkest Depths is a black and white
Hmm.
anthology, so it'll be all black and white, which I think works very well for horror.
Yes, but I think also too, if and let me just I'm gonna also maybe I'll just want to jump to this question because like it's like I'm gonna say maybe like the tagline is because it says an extreme horror anthology because like you said the black and white adds a little bit of the moodiness and also
Yeah,
um it kind of sets the tone of the creepiness to it.
yeah,
You know, it it does.
and some yeah, I just think black and white art looks great too because I remember I was doing the Kolchak 50th anniversary graphic novel,
Yes.
and some people turned in work, the black and white work before we got a color, and I was like, this looks great. I would love to just release it like this without not that the coloring is bad because Zach does the coloring and the coloring is amazing, but I love the look of black and white
Hmm.
uh in comics. So but it works very well with horror. That was one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to do a black and white book.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think it works very well here, and you can see the art. It's like it's going to be dark anyway. So
Yeah, that's true.
you know, yeah, they want to work with all the bold colors and stuff, but
Hmm.
I always like the kind of old school black and white uh, horror books.
Oh yes, yeah. All right. Now, let's see. Now, you've already because there's also a couple other stories that there's no preview pages, but there's one story that I'm really looking forward to. And like I said, because I know you already, I think there's like I think a one sentence description of it. Um, Magic 8 Ball. That is a story I'm really looking forward to. But can you just talk about the idea of it, just the story, who wrote the story? I don't know if you've seen any artwork, but can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, that one I don't have the script yet, so I don't
Okay.
know anything else other than what Candace the 1 or 2 lines she gave. But that's be written by Candace Nola, and that's about a magic 8 ball that
Yes.
so the line is a New Orleans priestess uses her this special magic 8 ball to determine the fate of her enemies. So this is also Candace's first comic too. So she writes horror novels and short stories. But so this is her first
Hmm.
comic script that she wrote, and also the other story by Nick Roberts, The Cabin Game. That's Nick's first comic as well.
Oh, that's good. That's pretty cool. But I'm sorry, yeah, the magic, I still love the magic 8 ball. It's just, the voodoo priestess, she's using it against, her enemies. And it's like, oh, that is just so it's one of those it's those really nice twisted revenge stories. It's not one of those, you know what I'm saying? It's not like one of those it's like some normal kid picks up an 8 ball and then weird things happen, like things happen to normal people, but it's just like one of those, yeah, man, you did me wrong and I'm coming after you,
Right,
man,
right, right. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
That should be cool.
Um, this is an off the cuff question, and if you don't know, that's fine. But so far, I know that there's about five five short stories in this anthology. Are you looking to add maybe a one, like do you know how much maybe you're gonna put into this, or is it that gonna be the limit for this?
Well, we're gonna have the submission, so we're gonna have we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
add a story for every like $5,000 we make. So we already added one more story.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have these five stories, and then we'll have at least one more story that we'll get from the submissions. But we'll most likely get to at least $10,000 because we're almost at seven, or we're a little over six
Oh,
now.
that's
So then
nice.
we'll definitely add two more stories. So then that would be seven stories. It'll be at least 50 pages or
Yeah.
more. So if we can get to 15,000, that's what I'm really hoping for,
Mm-hmm.
we'll add three stories.
Oh, that'd be really nice. That'd be
Yeah.
really good. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna say let's start talking about the reward tiers because already I think there's now correct me if I'm wrong. There's already as we know of now. There's two variant covers or one variant cover.
Well, yeah, well, two covers, but I don't know if we consider one a variant
Oh,
or
okay.
consider them two covers, but yeah, but so it'll be available as a digital book, but all and a paperback. And
Hmm.
there's two covers, and J.K. Woodward did one cover that based on my story, The Gate,
Yes.
and I love that cover. That's a crazy cover.
Hmm.
And then we have another cover based on Taylor Grant's story, It
Oh.
Lives in Darkness, and that's
Hmm.
from Robert Hack, which is a really awesome cover too, which based on the monster in the
Hmm.
dumpster.
Okay. Then also to because there's also some other stuff that's included in some of the reward tiers. I saw I think Jonathan Mayberry's Joe Ledger and Violin Hearts in Mind graphic novel. That's based on
Yeah,
Jonathan's Joe Ledger's his character that he uh, from his novels, right? If I remember correctly. You guys are offering that as part like a part of a rewards packet or a tier package or something.
yeah, 'cause that was the first. Well, that's Crystal Lake Comics is so I'm publishing this as it's really published by Monstrous Books and Crystal Lake
Mm-hmm.
Comics. But Crystal Lake Comics' first project last year was the Joe Ledger graphic novel by Jonathan Mayberry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's almost done. That's we just got to get that lettered, and that should be done in a few weeks. But
Mm-hmm.
we offer that make that available because we didn't do a Kickstarter campaign. We did it on BackerKit.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is the first time it's available on Kickstarter. So we made that available as
Mm-hmm.
well. And that looks great. That's a like a 48 page graphic
Mm-hmm.
novel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, hopefully we can have that to the printer in just a few more weeks, and then we can check that out. But that's a really cool graphic novel.
Oh, okay. All right. Um, and also too, you're also offering also Taylor's short story prose short story collection, the Shuddering Breath Before Oblivion. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? So that's a collection. Is that his one like um um like is that because if I remember correctly from the campaign page, it was like basically was that his last anthology book that he worked
Yeah,
on?
this will be his last. It didn't come out yet, so
Okay.
it's coming out later this year. So that's his last short story collection that Crystal Lake is publishing. So the campaign will have an exclusive hardcover. So I don't
Oh,
think the hardcover is going to be available anywhere else. So you can get it as an ebook, or you can get it
okay.
as a hardcover.
Okay. All right. And then also to also also too I saw like you guys are also there's also a t-shirt also through one of the tiers, correct?
Yes, we got a Darkest Depths T-shirt, which is a very cool T-shirt. It was started from an old campaign, but we used the same tagline from the Darkest Depths, but we hadn't made it. It hasn't been available in a long time. And that's one of the
Mhm.
shirts I wear a lot anyway. So it's a really cool one.
All right. And then also too, one last one for the last one, when the digital bundles. You want to talk about that? That's included in the campaign.
Yeah, so there's a Crystal Lake ebook bundle, and you get 10 ebooks for only $20. And
Mhm.
most of those books were written by many of the contributors to the comic. So there's a book from John Durgan and a book from Candice Nola and Nick Roberts and me. So my Weird Western collection of novellas will also be available. So that's a good deal. It's only $2 an ebook, and they're really good books. And then I did a Monstrous Books ebook too for
Mhm.
five books for $20, and you can get the Kolchak one shot comic and
Yes, yeah.
my Dead Jack novel and Shakespeare Unleashed, Classic Monsters Unleashed, and the Dead Detective Society #1, which is a really cool anthology which has Steve Niles in it and me. I got my a Dead Jack short story in there, and Jonathan
Nancy
Mason.
Collins, her Sonia
Nancy
Blue.
Collins has Sonia Blue story in there. David Avallone has
Mhm.
a Nick Carter story, which is really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that anthology, and we hopefully we'll do the second book for that too soon.
Yes, and listeners, when James is talking about these, these digital bundles, and he talked about the Shakespeare Unleashed, Monsters Unleashed, um, the Dead Detective Society. I mean, we're not talking these like little thin short story, not, I mean, anthology. These are nice, because I picked up the Dead Detective Society one. These are nice thick books. And you could correct me if I'm wrong. Like maybe there's about 6 or 7 short stories in there, and that's a pretty good deal for these digital bundles.
Dead Detective Society has, I think, 13
Okay,
stories.
but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but it's just
Yeah.
these. You're getting a lot for your
Oh,
money.
and
Yeah.
yeah, Classics Monsters Unleashed is there's I think it's almost like 30 stories in that one.
Wow.
It's like 450 pages. Yeah.
I keep saying that. I know the last time, I think one of the interviews I did, I have to get that Monsters Unleashed book, the soft cover, and I got to go through you. I have to go through the Monsters website to pick it up because I know that you told me that there's a short story about the Blob, and I gotta
Oh yeah,
pick. Ah, okay, all
Linda
right,
added to that.
all right. Um, James, I'm going to slowly wrap things up. What was one of the things that you love working on this Kickstarter campaign? You know,
What's cool about this is that it's very different from the other stuff I've done. The last campaign was the Omega 11, which is fun and
yes,
and adventure-y, and this is more dark and there's not as much humor. Or I don't think there's any real humor in this. So this is something I wanted to do like just a kind of straightforward
yes.
horror uh book.
Hmm.
Usually I do stuff that's a little more maybe humorous or like pulpy.
Yes.
Uh, but here this is on the straightforward horror. So, and like we said, it's extreme horror, so it's not going to really be censored.
Hmm.
It'll
Yeah.
be as and I've encouraged the writers to just kind of try to go and the artists to go as far as they want
Yeah. Because
with
yes.
it, make it as gory and bloody
Hmm.
and go as far as you want. I mean, within limits, of course. I mean.
Yes. No, no, but yeah, no, but yeah, no, I know what you mean because yeah, like you said, it's like because um, it's almost well, this is kind of hard to compare it to. mm, I think one of the things that I just automatically thought of was The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Mhm.
God, man, I mean, all those visual effects, that doctor doing the chest compression on the guy's
Yeah.
chest, and he breaks through, and I've never seen anything like that. And I'm going, oh my God, this is great. Look at this. Like, he's like, oh, that was like so
Yeah.
cool.
No, that's a great movie.
Oh, it is. But but yeah. So anyway, um, oh, I know what I wanted to ask you was that, if someone misses out on this campaign, let's say all the fulfillment has been completed and everything is mailed off, will listeners get a chance to pick? Will this be available on the Monstrous Book website and Crystal Lake publishing website? Would it be available on the
Yeah,
website?
yeah, it should be, and hopefully it'll be available like, through Amazon and I'm working on getting distribution too. So I'm hoping we can get into comic book shops and Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
that'd be.
that'd be great. So like that's the plan. So next year,
Hmm.
that's supposed to be happening. So I hope it does happen.
Oh
It'd be
yeah.
really cool to get into the comic book shops. You know, the whole thing with Diamond, unfortunately, is making things more difficult.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
so we'll see. But that's always like, that's the next step, and that's kind of the dream because it'd be really cool. Because I do a lot of road trips and stuff, and then I visit comic book shops. So it'd be really cool to just go to like another state and go into walk into a comic book shop and go, oh, they have my book, you know.
Yeah. And then you go up to the Kindle. Hey, that's me,
That's
Yeah.
true. Give me for free. Yeah, but that'd be awesome because um, I've had a couple of books in like Barnes and Noble and stuff kind of like randomly, but I haven't seen any of my comics,
Mhm.
so that'd be really awesome. So yeah, we'll see.
Um, any convention or store appearance this summer? Do you have
No,
anything planned?
no.
Okay.
I've been so busy, so I was hoping that I was gonna do something, but so maybe
No,
by the
yeah, no, it's
fall.
just
Yeah.
no, yeah. I mean, no, but yeah, James, I hear you. I hear you. Um, any closing words to our listeners?
Well, please check out Darker Steps because, like I said, the money's going to Taylor's son, so we can
Ah,
definitely use as much money as
mm-hmm.
possible. And this time, it's not just to for ourselves or
No, yeah.
book. So that's really we're hoping to make um more money because it still will be kind of expensive to put the book together because
Hmm.
it's still a 50-page book. And we're gonna have like 6 or 7 stories, so we're gonna pay all the artists and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Like I said, and there'll be I'm hoping to do another 2 Kickstarters at least this year.
Wow.
Um, so I'm hoping to do a Kickstarter just for Monstrous magazine. So
Yes.
for Monstrous number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be the next Kickstarter. So I'll just do a Kickstarter just for because I never did a Kickstarter just for one of the issues of Monstrous.
Yeah.
So Monstrous 3, I'm thinking that that'll be the next
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter. So we have a cool theme for that one. So
Okay.
we can work on that. So
I can't wait to see what you guys got that one
it's
inside
well, it's the anniversary of
of something. We'll just leave it at
I-
that.
yeah, it's a yeah. What it's the 75th anniversary or something. You might
Okay.
you might know what it is.
Okay.
Because they've been doing a lot of comics based on the on that
Mhm.
property this summer.
Okay. Um, but listeners, before I start wrapping things up, again, like Monstrous, now correct, James, correct me if I'm issues, Monstrous issue 1 and 2, they're available out on the website already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and I know we talked about this the last time was that Monstrous 2, the theme was on time travel. And
Hmm.
great. Oh, yes. Yeah, the Morlock story, that is great. And what's so cool is that there's short stories in there and also in Monstrous 2, um what I loved about it was there's an interview with Malcolm
Mac.
McDowell
Oh, yeah,
because he did the time traveling story, H.G. Wells, the classic movie Time After Time.
yeah,
That was a great movie. And yeah.
yeah. And he's one of my favorite actors too. So that was really cool to get him in there. Yeah. So we had and yeah, and there was a short story too from Nick Roberts who's in the Darkest Steps.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is so cool. All right, James, just mahalo. Thank you for giving me another
Yeah.
opportunity
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me another opportunity to interview you. And like I said, just thank you for making comics because I always want to, I know, I just want to say this because, like you mentioned right now, it's like, I mean, comics is going to be around and so forth, but it's just, like what's going on with Diamond and some other things.
Yeah, I know.
It's, but it's just thank you for making comics. And I wish you all the success with your Kickstarter, the Darkest Depths. I'm looking, I backed this up, I backed this, campaign. Um, I want to see more of your story, The Gate, and and of course, like the Magic 8 Ball. I want to see that story. That
Yeah.
sounds cool. All right, so listeners, the campaign is live and ends on June 12th. Now, if you are a new comic book reader or a lifelong comic book reader who loves very good horror anthology, please check out the Darkest Depths Kickstarter. As James has mentioned, he told his writers and artists, just kind of let's push the boundaries on what they can do, and I can't wait. And it's black and white, and it's going to be more creepier, more moodier than ever. That's the thing I love about it. So now, James, I'm being serious on this part. For listeners, if you have a friend or a family member, again, who loves horror anthology comics, please consider picking up an extra copy and giving it to them as a gift because as James says that, he's trying to hope to, once I guess all the fulfillments and everything gets, done, and hopefully he works out things to get books into comic book stores. Now, James, I'm just saying this probably could take probably a couple years or so, but think about listeners, just think about getting this an extra copy to give to a friend as this gift. It's a unique gift that they'll, that they can check out, before it even hits stores. This would be great.
Yeah.
So now, Drew, I want to thank Drew, the co-host of Comics for Fun and Profit, for putting this episode together. Drew, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes. And if you are a new listener, please check out new episodes of Comics for Fun and Profit that comes out every Saturday. And I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this episode. Until next time, guys. Aloha.
Remember your stories, how they came to life. Black and white visions, cutting like a knife. You showed me worlds where darkness breeds, where fear and wonder interweave. Now you're gone, but not what you leave behind. Your stories live on when darkness falls. The pages turn, your voice still calls. Through the ink, through the pain, your legacy remains. Your legacy remains. This book we planned now stands for you, for a sane, for all you wanted to do. You taught us all to face our fears, to find the odd and broken tears. I'll carry on what we began is true. Your stories live on when darkness falls. The pages turn, your voice still calls. Through the ink, through the pain, your legacy remains. Your legacy remains. In the darkest depths, we find pieces of you, in words left behind, in worlds you drew. Your hand guiding ours, even now, even still.